First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
Police identified the hero who drowned in Norfolk this weekend while saving 2 other lives.
He had taken his son out fishing. Ultimately, it was his great love for his son that led to his death. 10 on your side, Stephanie Harris sat down with the victim's parents this afternoon. Stephanie.
Alvita, Tom, 49-year-old Toshiko Pearl did what any parent would do when his son and the teen's girlfriend jumped into the water at Lake Whitehurst and they got into trouble. At this altar in her living room, Toshi Pearl's mother prays twice a day.
It's hard though. Every morning and evening I watch his picture.
He was her only son who died saving his only son.
That's the ultimate sacrifice.
It took police several hours to find Pearl. He went into the water around 2:30 Saturday afternoon to rescue his son and the teen's girlfriend. It was around 60 degrees and the two decided to swim, but the water was much too cold.
My son, who can't swim, jumped in and managed to pull both of them out. But by then, I can only assume that he was overcome by hypothermia.
The teen watched for hours until police pulled his father's body up from the water.
I feel so sorry, you know. It's a longer day. Now I have to start thinking about my grandson.
Pearl's parents say his whole life revolved around his son. He was a single father in Japan and moved to their home in Norfolk 10 years ago for his son.
Japan don't have much babysitter like here.
He got work as a welder. Mom says his body was strong, but his heart too soft.
He take care of girl very good. I'm so proud.
Her prayer vigil will continue until Toshi's spirit leaves the universe. 49 days, according to the Japanese culture. And in their Buddhist faith, the Pearls take comfort. Because Toshi died a hero, they believe he will return to a better station in life. Now, Pearl will be cremated. His family will take his ashes to Japan in June for traditional burial there in a family plot. Stephanie Harris, 10 on your side.
It started as an armed robbery in Virginia Beach and ended with police shooting and killing a suspect. Today, 10 on your side learned that Saturday afternoon wasn't the first time 33-year-old Daniel Newcomb was shot during a police-involved shooting. Katie Collette joins us from Newcomb's home in Norfolk to explain. Katie.
Alvita, that first incident happened right here at Newcomb's home on Lenore Circle. Now, police say he pointed a gun at them and refused to drop it. That's when they were forced to shoot.
I had just moved in. My children were here. We heard a boom boom. I didn't know what was going on, but I heard the neighbors running out.
Mary Lockhart talking about September of 2009, a day she'll never forget.
There was a gentleman laying in the street. They had it blocked off. We didn't know exactly what had happened, but we do know it was a police shooting.
Our crew at the scene that day. Norfolk police say Newcomb called and told them he killed his girlfriend, which we later learned he did not do. Investigators say he came out of the house with a gun in hand, refused to put it down, and police shot him. Mel Grubbs saw it all.
They took him down and the ambulance came and got him, and that was about it.
Newcomb survived and his neighborhood was quiet until today.
Saw your cars here when I got up and I was like, oh no, not again.
But it did happen again. Same guy, different city. Employees of this tropical smoothie on Great Neck Road say a man robbed the restaurant and drove away. Virginia Beach police saw a car matching the getaway car's description and tried to stop it.
We heard the police coming up from behind.
Heard the sirens.
And I pulled over and the suspect car hit the other car in front, crashed, jumped out with a gun and started shooting, and I was just afraid my husband was going to be killed.
Investigators say officers fired at Daniel Newcomb, hitting him at least once, killing him, something police say they hope they never have to do. Witnesses like Crystal Marisi thankful the officers were there.
The police officers were taking care of it. We've got the finest police officers in the city. They were great.
Now, in the Norfolk shooting, police learned Newcomb actually had a toy gun with him at the time. In the meantime, Virginia Beach police are still working to determine what type of weapon Newcomb allegedly had with him during that police-involved shooting Saturday. And now the Virginia Beach police officers involved in that shooting have been placed on administrative duty pending the outcome of the investigations. Live in Norfolk, Katie Collette, 10 on your side.
Well, the question now is, if Newcomb is accused of firing at Norfolk police officers in 2009, why wasn't he in jail? We did some digging. We'll have the answer for you new at 6.
A woman accused of hitting a Virginia Beach police car and then trying to run is staying behind bars. A judge denied bond for Shakia Allen. Police arrested her after Wednesday morning's crash at the intersection of First Colonial Road and Virginia Beach Boulevard. She's charged with felony hit and run and DUI. Police say the officer hit is out of the hospital and recovering well at home. A car crash in Portsmouth began with gunshots. Investigators say someone called 911 after hearing shots near Frederick and Deep Creek Boulevards around 9 o'clock last night. Officers found 19-year-old Keontre Rogers of Suffolk dead in his car. They say someone shot him and he hit a pole as he tried to drive away. These are surveillance pictures of 2 men who were at the BP gas station at the time of the shooting. Police want to talk to them, and if you can help find them, call the crime line.
2 Suffolk school bus drivers say that a man drove his truck alongside their buses and exposed himself. It happened in the same place on Route 58 near Pitchkettle Road. The most recent incident was early Thursday morning. It also happened in January. There weren't children on the bus at the time. Detectives say they do have possible leads on the suspect. If you have any information, call police.
Norfolk firefighters lost one of their own in Ocean View. 54-year-old Jonathan Myers was found unconscious on the bunk room floor of Station 13. He died at the hospital. Myers was a 20-year veteran of Norfolk Fire Rescue.
A big jobs announcement tonight. Cannon, Virginia in Newport News has plans to hire as many as 500 workers over the next 4 years. The positions will include chemical, electrical, and mechanical engineers, as well as camera repair technicians. 10 on Your Side was there in 2009 when then Governor Tim Kaine helped Cannon, Virginia celebrate the grand opening of its Newport News plant. The facility makes printer cartridges. The jobs will be posted on the Cannon, Virginia website and throughout the Virginia Employment Commission.
Dozens of local soldiers are leaving for Afghanistan. 160 assigned to the 11th Transportation Battalion are leaving tomorrow morning at Fort Story. The soldiers will spend the next year providing support to deployed forces. And a delayed homecoming at Fort Eustis. 80 men and women assigned to the 6th Transportation Battalion were supposed to return tonight from Kuwait. That homecoming ceremony, though, was postponed until Wednesday morning because of bad weather. You're looking at pictures now from the deployment ceremony last March. While they were gone, the soldiers distributed supplies to troops in Iraq.
There's a lot of green and gold in Norfolk today.
And people are showing their Spartan spirit for NSU's men's basketball team. They're home after last night's loss in the NCAA tournament.
NSU lost to number 7 seed Florida Gators 84-50, but fans in the school are still celebrating.
That band is hot too. You're looking live at the campus. It just started. We're going to have a live report from NSU in the next 30 minutes.
Antoine was my baby. He was okay. He was like quiet to himself, but he was like lovable.
You can tell by her voice. The mother is really sharing her pain. Her son was shot and killed over the weekend, and now she speaks to 10 on Your Side. Hear why this is not the first time she's had to deal with a tragedy like this.
For some sailors, it's the only work they've ever done, but they are losing their jobs. They're cut through the Navy's Enlisted Retention Board. How the military is helping those sailors find a new career path.
And a man on a motorcycle opened fire outside a school and killed 3 people, and this may not be the gunman's first violent crime. Why investigators think they may be looking for a serial killer.
And Super Duper 10 Live looks free of rainfall, right? Well, we got one lone shower, possibly some rumbles of thunder out over the Great Dismal Swamp. What about the rest of the forecast? And we'll update that for you coming up in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Libas, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Three children were among those killed when shots rang out at a school in France. It happened just as parents were dropping off their children. The gunman got off a motorcycle and opened fire. A 3- and 6-year-old, their father, and the 8-year-old daughter of the principal died. Investigators say there were 2 similar shootings in the same area within the last week. The same weapon was used and the gunman was on a motorcycle. French officials are concerned they are dealing with a serial killer with racist or political motivations. Investigators are also looking into possible terrorist links.
A busy month ahead for the U.S. Supreme Court. The justices are set to hear arguments on the constitutionality of President Obama's health care overhaul. The justices will also decide whether babies conceived through artificial insemination after their father's death should get his Social Security survivor benefits. The nation's high court will also hear arguments on whether juveniles should receive life sentences without parole if convicted for murder.
And Virginia gets an F for government accountability, putting it at high risk for corruption. This comes from the just-released state integrity investigation done by a nonpartisan group. The Commonwealth got an F for public access to information, political financing, lobbying, disclosure, ethics enforcement, and state budget processes. Virginia did score an A for internal auditing and procurement, but that wasn't enough to lift a failing grade, ranking it 47th among all states.
A tornado caught on tape will show you the damage from another round of severe storms.
Booted through the Navy's enlisted retention board, they're losing their jobs. How the Navy is helping sailors plan their future. Nearly 3,000 sailors let go from the Navy last year are getting some assistance finding new work.
Well, the Navy has linked up with a firm that will assist sailors as they make the transition to civilian work. 10 on your side's Melanie Woodrow spoke with the firm's CEO today. Melanie.
Alvin and Tom, the biggest issue for a lot of these sailors is finding ways to articulate how their skills in the Navy are transferable to other businesses. And now they're getting free help doing just that.
Getting let go from a job usually is not good news, but the Navy is attempting to soften the blow. After nearly 3,000 sailors learned they were out of work last year, now some good news. Free help from Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, a coaching firm based in Chicago.
We're helping people develop resumes, work on the interview, work on translating the skills they've gained in the Navy into the private sector.
CEO John Challenger said the Navy is picking up the bill.
I think that's good. They need it.
Navy wife Angela said her husband is still in, but if and when he's out, it's help that he would need.
Because when you've been in there for so many years, you're not really acclimated to the world and what's going on out here.
Bosun mate Kanisha Battle is just beginning her Navy career, but worries what she is doing might not be transferable later on.
Well, my job has nothing to do with healthcare administration at all.
It's concerns like hers that are magnified for sailors let go from the Navy, some doing the same job for decades.
The biggest issues are translating your Navy skills into the private sector and getting out from behind the computer, seeing people, many more people in person.
One was affected by the enlistment retention boards, and you'd like more information about this free coaching service, call the Challenger, Gray, and Christmas call center at 1-800-971-4288. Melanie Woodrow, 10 on your side.
It's that time of year weather-wise. Severe weather ripped through parts of Oklahoma Sunday night. You're looking at video captured by storm chasers. This is a funnel cloud near Willow in the western part of the state. Tornadoes touched down here in mostly rural areas and didn't cause a lot of damage, and no injuries were reported, but it produced some fantastic pictures. Now we're going to look at damage after 2 tornadoes hit western Nebraska. Several homes and cars were in the path of this storm. Power lines are still down, and at least 15 train cars derailed.
Governor Bob McDonnell designated tomorrow, March 20th, Tornado Preparedness Day in the Commonwealth. 51 tornadoes hit Virginia last year. This is the damage in Gloucester County after a twister touched down in April. 3 people died. Dozens more were hurt. 12 people died in Bertie County. Now tomorrow, schools, businesses, and families are encouraged to practice taking cover from tornadoes by participating in the statewide tornado drill. At 9:45 a.m., the National Weather Service will send a test tornado warning tomorrow morning on WAVY News 10 starting at 4:30 a.m. We'll tell you what will happen in Virginia Beach schools and why it's so important to be prepared. It is the first full day of winter, but no, you wouldn't know it across the nation, and in some spots winter is still hanging on. New at 5:30 will show you the changing seasons across America.
Beautiful pictures. I know we're very mindful of tornado season in this part of the country. You know, in April or so we have this nice weather, and we're always kind of looking out for the next month or so,
today,
right?
though.
Yeah, gorgeous day, and temperatures into the low 70s today. It was a gorgeous weekend for the most part, other than the fog on Friday night. We could see a return engagement to that overnight tonight. Tornadoes are not hugely frequent across our part of the world, but they do happen mainly in inland areas. Last year was an exception to the rule, and the Suffolk tornado of a few years back was an exception to the rule as well. But so again, we do get them, not very often. It's not the kind of thing you should be shaking in your boots about, but we do get them, so you should be mindful. Here's what's going on right now. Super Dot Pretend Live. Again, we can see hardly anything out there. We can see some departing rain way on off to the south. You can barely see it right on down into there, dropping on down I-40. But if we look a little closer, right over the Great Dismal Swamp, we've got one lone area of scattered showers and a rumble or two of thunder possible out of this, and it's mainly over the Great Dismal Swamp, but it's likely to move toward the Ballahack Road area here in the next half an hour or so. As far as lightning with it right now, not seeing a great deal, but they do have some brief heavy rain out of it, and they're not moving very fast, so it could be more than just brief rain. It's sort of like taking a bucket and maybe either moving it fast or moving it slow over the top of you. Well, moving it slow over the top of you, you end up with a little more rain out of it, quite obviously. Now, we talked about the trouble with tornadoes out in the Midwest. Well, that's going to be transferring, especially to Texas. Now, here's where the watches and warnings out. Severe thunderstorm watch now, tornado watch from north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, basically from the Red River and southward through south central Texas. And again, that's in effect until late tonight. And this is not going to move much the next couple of days. So they've got a big drought. So they're going to get some benefit out of this in terms of rainfall. And here's what's going on with our future track computer model for that area. Look at these areas of rain moving on through, but they're likely to see severe weather with that. This is over the next couple of days, and it finally starts to weaken a bit. It's all going to sit here for the next day and a half, and then finally weaken by Wednesday evening and produce some rain over the lower Mississippi Valley. And again, today, it's producing the possibility of damaging thunderstorms over Texas, especially from Dallas-Fort Worth and southwestward. Here's what's going on for us. Again, we can see that one lone shower right on into there. And what's going on at 9 o'clock tonight, a little weak low pressure area. Everything's kind of stuck. That low pressure area over Texas, or that's dominating Texas, is not moving very much. And really our weather is not going to move very much either. A light easterly wind flow over the next couple of days and a stray shower or two. It's not a huge chance of rain. Here's where things are at midnight tomorrow night, and there's where we are during the day on Wednesday. Sunshine and cloud cover, a little more cloud cover coming up on Wednesday, and a stray shower or two, but it's not likely to really dominate our weather in the next couple of days. Here's what's out there right now. We've got partly cloudy skies, and again, temperatures kind of bouncing around in terms of how much cloud cover that we've got and whether the breeze is coming in strong enough off of the ocean, but it has been strong enough over the ocean, coming in off of the ocean to hold our temperatures basically into the upper 60s and low 70s, and that's going to continue in the next couple of days, along with the possibility of fog overnight, only dropping to around 52 overnight, a little on the cooler side. And during the day tomorrow, that fog could hang around first thing. Stray shower or two tomorrow, but nothing real big. Only isolated showers next couple of days. And then we start to warm up into the end of the week. And finally, some scattered rain by especially Saturday into early Sunday.
You can make some sick little boys and girls very happy. The unique way you can donate to a charity that doesn't involve time or money.
A Norfolk woman is talking about her son, shot and killed over the weekend. You're going to hear why this is not her first brush with tragedy.
Airline miles are the biggest way that people can help Make-A-Wish. It's what we spend more money on than anything else.
Make-A-Wish says that nearly 70% of the wishes it grants to children with life-threatening medical conditions involve some form of travel. The charity can accept and use donated frequent flyer miles from United, Continental, Delta, and U.S. Air. Now, the average trip makes 160,000 frequent flyer miles. Your donation must be at least 1,000 miles. Make-A-Wish can bank them and add them to other donations to offer a child a wish to remember.
Your donation of airline miles will allow us to send a child where they dream about going to, whether it's here in California or someplace the other side of the world, even if they're ready to expire, and the airlines will let us use them for as long as it takes.
The IRS does not consider donated miles tax deductible, but you can find more information about how to donate your miles to the Make-A-Wish Foundation by going to their website. We posted a link on WAVY.com under featured links.
Researchers say the outcome is worrisome. We have results of the first long-term study of the effects of meth on children whose mothers use it during pregnancy. And looking outside, it's hard to believe it's the last day of winter. At 5:30, we're going to show you one place where winter's trying to hang on.
Governor Beverly Perdue is asking victims of North Carolina's forced sterilization program to come forward. Perdue says that she's including compensation in her next budget. In January, a task force recommended each victim receive $50,000 in compensation. Governor Perdue hasn't determined the amount that will be in the budget. More than 7,600 people were sterilized in North Carolina between 1929 and 1974.
Behavior problems, anxiety, and depression. Researchers say that's some of the problems kids develop when their mothers use methamphetamine during pregnancy. Researchers at Brown University say prenatal meth is also associated with a greater risk of acting out, impulsivity, and aggression. It's the first study to look at meth's potential lasting effects on children. Experts say the problems are similar to the so-called crack babies, or kids whose mother used crack cocaine during their pregnancies. Government data shows more than 10 million Americans have used meth. About 1% of pregnant women are users. A federal appeals judge says a law requiring new graphic warning labels on cigarette packs does not restrict tobacco companies' freedom of speech. The FDA plans to require all manufacturers to cover the top half of their packaging with images of cadavers, mouth cancers, and other physical effects of smoking. Spokesperson for North Carolina-based R.J. Reynolds says the company is considering its next steps. Now, today's ruling does not address the constitutionality of specific images. That's another case that will go before an appeals court next month.
New at 5:30, a mother's pain, 2 sons lost to violence.
First in